And welcome to Blockbuster Bums. Kick back your recliner, crack open a beer, and let's talk movies. And today we're here to talk about Octopussy, the 13th installment of the Bond movies, and again has Roger Moore as James Bond. Justin, would you like to give us a quick synopsis?
Yep. This one starts a fake Faberge egg and a fellow agent's death. That's essentially what kind of puts the whole thing in motion. Leads Bond to uncover an international jewel smuggling operation headed by the mysterious old Octopussy, who's also being used to disguise a nuclear attack on NATO forces, which ends up being the bigger problem towards the end of it. But yeah, there you go. There you have it.
All right, well,
This is an intricate plot.
Pussy, Jewels, and Bombs. Let's talk about this movie.
Could have been good, but
Honestly,
not this.
I really like the movie just even from the start of it. Like, it's gonna go on. Like, we're in Cuba and all that. Apparently, there's some Fidel Castro looking guy and all that. Like, because it never really
Some
says.
Central American
Like,
nation.
they're speaking Spanish and they're clearly communists in some
I can tell by
fashion.
their.
They're clearly
I
communist.
can tell by their uniforms.
But no, and I love, like, it was just so James Bond, where I was like, put the little fake mustache on him, like, he gets found out, like, putting the bomb in, like, the nose of the plane and all that. Doesn't matter because they, like, the accomplice, like, she, like, has the guards look her way and whatnot. Then he gets into a plane that comes out the back of a horse's ass, literally.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I loved that.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I really liked about this movie.
Yeah.
The horse's ass that turns into a
Just
plane was great.
like,
Dude, that shit was slick.
That was a Bond gadget
and
right
it just
there.
Yeah.
flies right out. And even when he was like, then the running joke on that is like, starts running out of gas. It's a small little single person plane, pulls up, it's like, fill her up and all that.
It's
Yeah.
jet powered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the great joke to where I was like,
Dark.
yeah.
After he drove his jet through a garage to get the heat-seeking missile behind him
Oh,
to
yeah.
blow up what he was trying to blow up
Right
to begin
through
with.
the hangar and all
Yeah.
that. So he still accomplished the mission and all that. Like, from the start, I think it set a great pace for the movie.
Well, I'm going to say this. I want to go back to before that, to the actual beginning of the movie. I think it's the best opening sequence of any of the movies. The clown chase through the woods.
Oh yeah,
I loved that.
009.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
This movie starts off really, really well. The clown chase is really good. I mean, you don't find out till later, but the clown is actually 009.
I swear a 009 has died like multiple times in Bond's history.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that we've heard a 009 or like like another one with that
Either
number.
he's incompetent or his character has been killed multiple times.
I mean, they replaced your number when you die,
Yeah,
so
I'm saying if you
009 just happens to be
Yeah,
something.
You're
It's unlucky.
you're the red shirt of the double O's, basically. Like, nobody wants that number. Like, but no, I like it too because you have like the circus performer, like the two. That's where you get introduced to the two brothers and all
Yep.
that, like the knife throwers chasing him through the woods and all that.
Martin Short twins.
Which I would have got rid
It
of
looks
the.
like Martin Short.
I would have got rid of the shoes. Like, I think I could have done
Clown
better in
shoes.
barefoot and socks.
Yeah, you
Like,
should've
Got rid of the shoes. Got rid of the balloons that are attached to your belt. Maybe.
In part, I think the idea was, well, he didn't have time, but he also didn't want to leave a trail, I'm
he
sure,
was
as part
leaving.
of it.
He was leaving a trail and he knew it anyway.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. He
you're
was
leaving
popping-
a trail and you're a
yeah.
big target. With,
He's
Right.
popping balloons, dressed in bright yellow and red, running around in woods at night.
But it is such a great and unexpected visual, and it
Well,
works really well.
because you even see like that, like even starts off that East and West Germany conflict there. Like, he's basically hopping the border and everything with like jewels and everything from the other side. Like it is a good start off, which then leads us to the Cuban scene and everything. Like,
Yeah, the
yeah,
plane
like it.
scene is great. The opener, I think Moore is a lot of fun in that with playing the different role. I think he's given the name of Luis Toro. Is his alias to get inside where he's supposed to complete his mission. He does have a great line when the real Luis Toro comes in and blows his cover, and he says something like, "A small world. I see you're a Toro too,"
Yeah.
which is pretty funny. And then that is excellent. And yes, the clown scene, I love it.
And then we get to the part where he gets captured and they're on the 7-ton or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the two guards have the parachutes on.
Yeah,
Why in the fuck do they have parachutes on in the back of a fucking truck? That makes no goddamn sense.
I'm not going to question another country's military. If that's your standard issue, works for Bond. Like,
Yeah, that's the shit you do. Keep a packed parachute on at all
you
times.
never know when you're going to fall from 30,000 feet. Like,
or 5 feet off a truck.
Yeah, peculiar choice, absolutely.
Oh,
I want to ask this real quick before we get too far away from it. Is this the first time we've watched a 00 die on screen? Because I couldn't think of another one.
They've alluded to
What
some
about
dying before,
Live and
but
Let-
never showed.
What about the
live
one?
and let die.
Yeah, the
No,
one where they're
we
in-
talked about that. Those were MI6 agents, but they weren't 00s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, then I
Did Dr. No kill one?
not that we've seen on camera.
Not on camera.
Well,
Well,
they say
was
they
that
mentioned-
guy? I don't think he was a
he was
00 though.
00.
I think he was just working for MI6.
Yeah.
I think he was just a station agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this might be so far anyway. I
Yeah.
can't think of another. Like I said,
Yeah.
the rest of it's been either MI6 or CIA agents.
Yeah, we've seen some CIA agents
Like
get
we-
it
like I
too.
said, we've heard them talk about other agents being stationed or dead, but yeah, like I said, we've never actually seen it.
It was a good death, and of course he makes it to the British ambassador's home, where he basically lets go of this fake Faberge egg. We find out, and just even the scene, when the ambassador sees this clown laying there on the floor
Yeah.
is a great scene, and he's still got one of the balloons attached, to him. It just looks cool and interesting.
I just have a question about that though.
Just foreshadow.
How long did he have to walk with that knife in his back to this house to die
Thankfully-
on the carpet?
Thankfully, the house was nearby the river,
Was it?
seemingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, then we cut to like Bond tossing his hat and seeing Moneypenny 2.0. Is that the next scene?
What is her name? Is that
Small bone, I believe.
I don't know, but I just know that
Let me
like
look.
it caught my attention because we seen the hat again, and then it panned over to like
Penelope Smallbone?
old Penelope. She looks like a Penelope.
What did you guys generally
Well,
like
they've-
this scene?
They've also just so we're talking about we're talking about like I don't know Moneypenny's assistant, but in this movie Q has an assistant too, Smithers. I think we see
I laughed
Smithers
about that, too.
after this as well.
Smithers.
That's all I could think about was The Simpsons. I was like, no
Oh,
way
yeah.
his name is Smithers. Like, it's like that is awesome. Like,
I
no,
was kind of indifferent toward Penelope Smallbone
You
and
would.
whatever. I didn't mind the
You're just
scene with
hating on the
Moneypenny,
youth.
but I didn't think it was particularly great. It was all right.
Gave Moneypenny the rose, gave her the rest of the bouquet and all that. And
I think it
there was
was.
a banter between them amongst them and all that.
The passing of the
liked it.
torch.
I think it was almost sad.
It was kind of sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she's actually talking about how old she is and how she's past her prime, and how Bond isn't interested in her anymore. And it's almost like
Well, yeah, nobody likes to hear
Ouch.
the quiet part out loud.
Well, if you think about
Like,
it, I mean, Moore as Bond, he wasn't interested in her. He didn't.
not
He didn't flirt
yeah
with her.
any of his movies.
He didn't flirt with her.
No, that's one thing that has not come back since the Connery movies is Roger Moore does not flirt with Moneypenny
Right.
at all. Like, their interactions are almost worthless.
So I
This
guess
is probably the biggest interaction they've ever had.
she's finally
I feel
realized.
like that's why it's so much more important because he actively is alluding to that he has been flirting with Penny in the past,
even though
and he's
they're
going
probably
to
the
flirt with
same
her
age.
in the future. Like that's literally what the conversation is saying here. Is like, oh well, now I got someone else to hit on and talk to and whatnot. Like,
Yeah, when he's done doing his thing with younger people and he wants someone his age, he'll come back to Moneypenny
I don't know about
because
all that.
they're essentially the same age. She may be a little older than him. I mean, actors, the actors,
Yeah, oh yeah, we're
not
talking,
not
yeah,
Bond's character because
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're talking about real
36,
chronological, yeah, but if we're
30,
talking
maybe 37,
yeah,
supposedly.
And this is our first movie with Robert Brown as M.
yeah,
Forgettable.
comes in.
I
Very.
think he was
And-
forgettable.
Yeah, like it's like I said. Well, we see more like the prime minister. Is it him making
Yeah.
another like scene in it and everything, being a turd about the egg and whatnot? Like, Yeah,
M is there definitely just to perform a function, and that's
yeah.
there's not a lot of character involved in it necessarily, but that's all right. It doesn't necessarily have to involve a lot of.
No, because I think it was crammed that way really quick just to get his ass to India really fast in the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like I think that's what it was. Like, hey, we can't waste a lot of time with dialogue here. We have to speed it up along to get you here to move the plot along quicker. Like, so
Yeah, they had to
that's the way
discuss the egg and the counterfeit stuff, and they had an expert there to kind of give a little information about
pretty much
the
verify it
nature
and
of the
all.
counterfeiting and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think shortly after, and I really enjoyed the scene where the Russian officials are sitting around, and this is where we meet Orlov, and Gogol's there again.
Yeah.
Gogol's
Mhm.
back.
My boy.
The set's cool. It's got a picture of Vladimir Lenin and this
Yeah.
big map, and this
It's almost Spectre-esque.
yeah, very much. And everyone there,
kinda how I
again, it's
feel like
another
they
example
do their
of
stuff. Like-
kind of soft pedaling what the USSR was, which, they everyone wanted peace ultimately, except for Orlov, who was way over the top and wanted to strike with tanks and has no interest in disarmament. And I thought he was a lot of fun. Do you guys like Orlov?
Orlov was quality.
Yeah.
He was what he was. He wasn't the super in-depth character, but he was like the warmonger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
I think he's what people thought the stereotypical like Soviet general was.
Right, like
Like,
they must
you-
dominate
they
and
were
Yeah,
take
it's like
over.
you have the
A long
two
time ago.
you have those two personalities where it's like you have like Orlov, like the one that wants war and wants to conquer by force, and then you have the other that we've seen develop where it's like, I'm gonna do this in the most diplomatic way possible because I don't want you to realize what I've done.
Yeah,
Almost.
Gogol is like
yeah,
a
I want you to
diplomatic
want
defiance.
this. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, we're going to be nice.
It's-
We're going
you-
to say we're doing
yeah.
these things, much like they
I
do
think
now.
it shows the duality.
don't
of it.
really do
So
those
I think it's and throughout the movie you even see that at the end when like he defects over into the other into like from was it east to west Germany and everything, and they're even in the pursuit of Orlov and everything, and they're shooting him in the back while he's trying to get away and find out that he was betraying them. It's
Mm-hmm.
you even see those dynamics and everything within it. Like I liked him as a character, and I liked how his character was developed throughout the movie.
Yeah. And I like the
I
actor
did like that.
portrayed him a little over the top, which I thought was awesome.
Orlov just essentially has no loyalties. Like he's not loyal to Russia. He's not loyal to the other villains he's in league with. He's not loyal to anybody.
I think he's loyal.
To the military.
I think he's loyal to Russia.
I say it's the ideology.
He's acting against
Yes.
whoever's in charge.
It's not Russia. I think you see this is a man who is loyal to something that he personally believes in himself. So yes, he wants money and power, but he also at the same time even talks about it like, when this bomb goes off, I'll be known because something about the ideology.
He said he would be a hero when he dies.
Yeah, but it's
Mhm.
because he wants to be seen as that with the ideology of communism, not the country of Russia. Like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
it's a different level of character. It's a different level of crazy. But I mean, like I
Right.
said, whereas like the main leader of Russia, like he wants the country of Russia to succeed with the power of communism. He
Right.
doesn't want communism to succeed with the power of Russia.
All while he's making
Yeah,
himself
that's
rich.
fair.
Like I
Yep.
think that's another dynamic here. Like
Yeah.
what means to an end are you trying to get at?
Yeah, I see that. Although I think it is fair to say that Orlov definitely thought that using military power while assisting with the disarmament of these other nations was good for the USSR, and that was ultimately
But that was good for him.
all while
well.
he was stealing from his own
Stealing
government.
and making
But
himself
but
rich.
that's what makes it.
But to a greater end, he saw
yeah.
it.
But the greater end is communism. The greater end isn't the country. He's like I said.
He sees them both as the same.
Yeah, it's the hell with the country. Like I can appropriate these funds better because of an ideological reason.
Mhm.
Like that's what it is. It's like I know more than you about what needs to be done for our future. Like
Yes.
so
very
he
much.
literally was doing that and selling, pretty much black market, goods and all
I
that.
think he was getting rich for himself, not for his country.
Well, because back to the narcissism. Well, like I said, it's not about the country.
The communism affects everybody except him.
Like I said,
It's
Yes.
what he
Yes.
was doing.
I'm going to be rich, but nobody else can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, he has no loyalties.
Once again, yeah. Like, but I think that shows time and time again all that throughout the movie. Like I said, even in that exchange when he's talking about in the war room, like you can tell he's all butthurt that everybody else is against him. Like, and when
Yeah.
and even specifically, everybody be quiet. Like when he silences everybody in the room, like not just the person that was disagreeing with Orlov, like no, you too, sit.
Yeah,
Like,
he sees himself as the true believer,
Yeah.
and them as probably sellouts in his mind.
I would agree. So this really puts us at a place where, like, we've talked about Orlov here quite a bit, but he's in league with two other villains. Like, there's a three-way, I don't know, three-part villainess here.
Because then we can go from the auction with the egg to India and all to where we're in the game of backgammon. Is that what's the game?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
backgammon.
Con.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
They figure out that he's involved with this because Bond scopes him out at Sotheby's at the auction where the real egg was being auctioned. Khan had to buy it. I don't want to get into the whole plot matter on it, but then we also see Magda there with Khan, who becomes a love interest briefly with Bond. But yeah, the Baccarat, I think
It's backgammon.
Backgammon.
Oh yeah, they were playing a dice game, so it wasn't Baccarat. Was a great scene, and Moore really shined in that scene. Man, he was awesome.
I'll say that scene was really James Bond-esque.
Yeah,
It was.
Like,
There was some Bond there.
Because I fully believe you could exchange him and Connery, and it could be done exactly the same.
Well, Connery did something similar to who was that? To Goldfinger, but he wasn't playing him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You just tell him to but it'd be the same. Like Bond would know that the dice are rigged, and it's like, oh well, I'm going to invoke a player's choice.
By the way,
golf, when they were playing golf,
yeah,
when you saw it, he was
by the way, who wouldn't have figured out that the dice were rigged when he kept rolling double sixes over and over again?
Double sixes.
But he lost for the longest time, so it kind of leads you to believe that he only does that
'cause he could
at a
turn it
certain
on.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the guy he was playing against, they talked as if they'd played multiple times, and it's like, oh, like every time when you need it the most, and it's like, it's like you bait him until he wants to play double or nothing. So like you said, like you would just think as soon as he says that, like, well, fuck your luck, I'm gonna cashing out and running.
You'd have to
Like,
be stupid and or a degenerate gambler to keep going. Which
Well, they
that guy,
made him
we can
look
assume
pretty stupid.
was.
Yeah.
Like he was desperate to lose all of his money.
Yeah. The
well, but, yeah.
the best thing about that scene to me was once Bond calls for player's choice or whatever and uses the loaded dice, he doesn't even look at the dice.
Six.
Yeah, he just
Yes.
And
double six.
and he's so cool and so cold, and then he doesn't even accept a check. He says, "I'm gonna need cash."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
good.
prefer
Awesome,
cash.
man.
It's all in the wrist.
But then-
And then Khan's like, spend it quickly.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, I'm going to kill you.
But I like
Like-
that because that was the big thing. Is like, can you cover the bet? As we said earlier and everything. Is like, well, now I'm calling you out. Can you pay me out in cash?
Yeah,
Like,
and Bond does reveal the egg, so he's like saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
I'm your Huckleberry. I'm on to you."
So,
which
I-
that wad of cash saves Bond.
Yeah.
Like,
It does.
Thank God for hard currency. Like,
I have a question, though. And I think it's very important.
Okay.
What is harder? Crushing a golf ball or crushing dice?
Probably
an
the
old
dice.
boy.
Probably
Yeah.
dice,
The dice, yeah,
they're
it's,
so
the
small.
dice are going to require more muscle
More-
in your
it'd be-
hand.
it'd be more
because
like
it's such
right
a
there.
small.
Like, because the thing about even just holding something small as dice, like it makes a pocket. Like you'd
So
have to have it
is
like
he stronger than
it has to be all
Najab?
fingertip. Like
So would he be stronger than Najab then?
And this guy's
But he
name
doesn't have
was
Jaws beat.
Gobinda, I believe.
that'd be a
Gobender?
Yeah,
Gobender?
something like that. Pretty cool character.
On
kinda
here,
liked him.
on here, he's just called Thug. They don't have his name on here.
I think it is Gobender, like you said.
that's
something
kind
like
of
that.
shortchanging him. That's because like I said, he was,
He's like the main henchman in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way
Yeah, he's
around
pretty
it.
good.
Yeah, he's fine.
Which, of course, he's an Indian man, so they are, as Tom I think said earlier, they do. Bond does make his way to India. I believe he's tracing Khan is the idea there.
Yeah,
And you see a lot of, and I like this. Some people get sour at this sort of stuff nowadays, but I like it where you see kind of what especially when you're a kid, you think of a stereotypical like India mysticism stuff with the snake charming was in there, and that's how he met
sword
VJ.
swallowing.
That was
The
a
sword
voice.
swallowing.
You better put this back.
Walking on hot coals.
Yeah, the nail bed.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
Which once again, get out of my bed. Like,
James Bond knows his own theme song.
Oh
he
yeah.
does.
That
The
shouldn't
guy
have
started
happened.
playing
He's
it.
walking-
Yeah.
yeah,
He's like, "Da-da, da-da,"
yeah.
and he turns around, so he
Yeah.
knows his own theme song.
That was
It kind
there's
of begs
zero
the question:
excuse
does
for
Bond
that.
hear that every time it is played in the movie? Like, just like
Yeah, that's to me inexplicable.
it's part of his
What are we
tinnitus from years of
doing here?
shooting. Like, he just
Yeah.
hears
And
that
then
too.
when they leave it, he just like lets the snake go. He just
Yeah.
like
He does.
slithers
Yeah,
in.
it
He's
slithers
like,
off.
Are you crazy? Are you kidding me? A cobra? He's gonna let one go.
Yeah, they have bigger
And-
things to worry about.
And the
It killed
snake
someone.
charmer is Bond's contact.
Yeah.
His help here.
VJ.
VJ.
One of my favorite
Cool
sidekicks.
character.
He
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
He
I like
wasn't
VJ. I
bad.
was
He wasn't
disappointed when he died.
I was, and how he went out. Even I think he deserved it better.
Yeah,
bad.
bitch.
He was Indian Quarrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quarrel was useful
and was
until he put that
Quarrel
freaking red
deserved it
shirt on
better.
and started running in front of fake dragons.
Yeah, like both of them deserved better. Like
Yeah,
'cause
they-
both
yeah.
of them extremely likable. I wanted him to make it. Like I was
Yeah.
rooting for like don't kill this character, don't kill him. Like
One
Sure
of my,
enough, damn yo-yo.
they
such a terrible way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a silly weapon, but whatever.
Very.
Well, but there was cool because you did see like certain like weapons that are very specific to Indian culture. Like I don't know if you guys seen that one like how it looks like a knife, but it had blades going in every different direction.
Yeah, during
Like-
the car chase.
Yeah, during
they're not cars,
several
but-
times,
yeah.
like
Yeah, like
very
cart.
very well, it's like a tuk-tuk or whatever. But
Did you guys like that chase?
It was no, hold on. The chase itself was it was fine, but the fucking tennis racket thing was
With the freaking
stupid.
tennis noises.
Yes,
I
it kept
liked
making
it.
tennis ball sounds when he would block things with his tennis
But did you
racket.
hear even, there is even like crowd noise.
Yes.
Very briefly, where I was like,
There was-
oh.
And then they
It
were,
was great.
No.
they were like
Oh, my
imitating a
goodness.
volley. Like they were looking back and forth, but the cars are going in one direction. How are they? What are they looking back to?
No, that was stupid.
I enjoyed it, but I understand why
Stupid.
people wouldn't like it.
it was very old school cinema.
Yeah.
It was the Italian pigeons all over again. It was.
Well, it
we
played
seen
it
in
They
other
even
movie.
sped up them looking back and
Yeah.
forth. They like
And none
looked,
of that- it
and
was-
then sped up
but
to them look the other
It
way.
was hard though to where like just from being in India, like my mind went as like I overlooked it because of Bollywood films in general. So like I think just seeing that culture in the background, I was like, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if we broke into a song and dance sometime in this movie. Like,
Thankfully, that didn't happen.
yeah, it didn't happen, but I was.
It would
like,
have been it would have fit right in.
Like I said, I wouldn't have been surprised, but I was like, yeah, we'll see if that happens. But America wasn't ready for that. Like, just like,
No,
Right.
they ruined a quality chase scene with the tennis racket shit. If he would have taken a tennis racket and like blocked a strike with it, I wouldn't have thought anything about it. But when he was sword fought with a tennis racket, and the tennis racket came out fine. First off, second off, they had to put the sound effects in there, which was just completely over the top. Like they ruined it.
I thought the sound effects were low key enough to where they weren't too much. But
Oh, I
again,
knew
I
exactly
think
what
our
it was when I was
tastes are a
hearing
little
it.
different.
I took-
liked it.
I took bigger issue with the back and forth take being recycled so many times. Like I said, I knew the sound, but I overlooked it because, like I said, the tennis racket, whatever, and all of that. Like,
Which it did tie in because VJ was, I think he had just said that he was like undercover as a tennis pro. Or
Yes, he
something.
did say
it's
that.
like, all it is like, well, my backhand's gotten better.
Right.
Like,
So-
Like I said, I don't
Yeah,
care that he
what-
necessarily
figured out
blocked
nothing.
a strike with his tennis racket. They just it's again they maxed it out.
Yeah.
They took it to the extreme, and they didn't need to, and they shouldn't have.
and then I did like definitely like very the way they went into the hideout and everything, just like drove right through the paper wall and everything, and another one comes right down.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that was slick too. I like that.
I did enjoy
Yeah.
that. To where I was like, I got him.
And who was there? But Q.
Right.
Yeah, with a bunch of weird ass inventions. and
Yes,
everything, like,
yes.
as they're walking through, like, because that's become the thing now. Is like, how many can you pick out in the background when they're walking Bond through like his lab and shit?
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
like,
I am curious because I think I mostly usually know where you guys are going to land on likes and dislikes. With Ray, I still don't quite understand. Ray, the chase generally, and then including the escape through the wall. I mean, what do you think of this?
I mean, I thought it was okay in general, but like when you start pulling out these weird ass weapons and then he starts throwing money at somebody,
But
what is he trying to do with the money? What's the money gonna do?
He was blocking the other cart from going down the street.
Oh God!
Yeah, it caused a riot.
It was effective.
Yeah,
it was very smart James Bond problem-solving thing to do.
But I'll say, like I said, the critique there is I like the one-liners because they hit at high points, but that scene, it felt like they were just rapid firing them and hoping some stuck.
Yeah. It was spaghetti on the wall.
Because we got the stab with the money was, oh, thank God for hard currency, and then boom, easy come, easy go, and like it's basically him and VJ just fucking off and everything.
He spent $20,000 there.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just had like a Faberge egg that was priceless, basically. Like he got that during the car scene on him. Like so he's.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. James Bond. I think the original intention, and of course the money ends up being strewn about. He gave money to VJ. I think presumably just here's some money, VJ, that he won from gambling.
Yeah, he takes it back though.
A lot of money to
he takes it back later.
Person.
Yeah, because he told him,
but
to
he
hold
needed
it
in the moment. I think his intention was just.
I thought that's what it was. It was just, hey, hold on to this because I'm going to need it later.
He didn't tell him, here, you can have it. He said, hold this for me.
He still held on.
The only one that got money of all that was the guy that brought him the cash because he left like 2 stacks on that plate.
He told
everyone else lost it.
Somebody like that'll keep you in curry for a while. That he gave the money.
Yeah, the other guy.
Yeah.
I guess he kept that money.
Yeah, I think he was giving the dough away.
Now when Roger Moore gets that lay on around his neck, did anybody think, "Wow, Elvis biopic, Blue Hawaii"?
No,
I did.
Was there?
It was there.
I didn't put that together, but I could see it.
Yeah.
So we talked about a gadget earlier that I really liked, and the horse's ass turned into a jet. There's another gadget in this movie that I was really into, and that was him going across the some form of water, and the alligator.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
That was a Bond gadget.
Yeah.
That was Bond gadget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's the island full of beautiful women that old boy works for, but he only gets there really because he finds out because he's already slept with the big-headed woman by then, right?
The big-headed woman, Magda.
Yeah.
Big-headed.
She's got a big forehead, man.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at her right now, man. Like I'm not getting there.
I don't disagree.
I think it may have been the hairstyle, but as soon as it popped up, that's the first thing I texted everybody.
I know you texted us that, but I didn't know who you were talking to. You just said, this woman has a big head, and I was like, okay. Like, all right.
It's like, is that for me?
Tom, that could be anybody.
No. I agree with you. You know, larger than average.
It may have been the hairstyle or everything.
I think it was the hair. Because I have a picture,
but like I said,
it does look quite large in this picture.
It just wasn't flattering. Like, in just a downward angle looking at her.
Had bangs.
Yeah, like, because like later on, not bad. And I said, when she done her little backflip off the balcony after she like stole the egg that Bond let her take and all that, like, which I loved that.
If I was Bond, I'd be like, I'm gonna run back down there. We're gonna go do it again. Cause
I'd be like,
turn me on right
keep
there.
The damn eggs. Let's come back up here.
That was legit.
Now, before we leave the Q lab, there's a couple good lines he had in there. When that dude was climbing up that retractable rope, Bond the Q, Bond the Q.
Indian mysticism thing, though.
Yeah. Having trouble keeping it up.
That was clever.
It's a prototype Bond.
And then Q snaps back at him at the closing of the scene as, "Don't let him teach you any habits," talking about VJ.
Yeah. Q was, I wrote this down, he was pretty surly in this scene toward Bond. More so than we've seen him with
whenever
Moore.
He's talking about his stuff. Q's so passionate about the things that he does that, he does give Bond shit every single time because Bond destroys it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
He just seemed particularly
except the watching.
It was more of a return to his interactions with Connery.
Yeah.
Because he was always getting on Connery and stuff in their scenes. And I felt like that scene was closer to that.
Yeah, felt more like that.
But later when they're in the hot air balloon and stuff, it's more back to the back and forthness.
Like, Like I said, it's a maturing dynamic. But yeah, then from there, like I said, he knows because he sees like the girl's little Octopussy tattoo and whatnot. And
I like that just because of how she said it.
yeah,
That's my little Octopussy.
Yeah,
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
and her effing dad gave her the fucking name.
That was creepy.
That was the dumbest.
When she gave that story and said that
was
the name my father gave me.
Actual Octopussy.
I was like,
this broad is just someone who has the tattoo on her, but the actual Octopussy.
So Magda had. So they all have that.
Yeah,
the brand.
So
I guess it's worth mentioning that, and I don't even know what her name is, but Octopussy, the character, you find out,
you never find out
has the nickname of Octopussy, and she also has many businesses. Some of them are not reputable, downright illegal, but she also runs a circus. But I guess the ladies that work for her get little tiny Octopussy tattoos on them. That has to be what's going on, right?
That's
like a show of allegiance.
You're in the gang.
It's almost like
it's either allegiance or it's like you're part of the trafficking.
You've been trained and all that.
The sex trafficking ring. You can't leave our capture.
Yeah, something of that nature.
Yeah, but she goes on her backstory too.
Same thing pimps do.
Like she actually tries recruiting Bond.
Yeah.
Right?
What's that?
She actually tries recruiting Bond.
She tries to get him to pay.
Because like she actually has like a backstory, like we're actually like they're intertwined somewhere in the past. Because
it's actually very interesting. Her father had been involved in some illegal activities, and Bond basically had busted him on it or whatever. But Bond gave him some sort of an option to like, I don't remember what it was, but to turn himself in or
commit suicide, right?
But he didn't give him the opportunity to commit suicide. That's what this guy just chose to do instead of basically being disgraced. And she was actually thankful that opportunity had been given. Although that wasn't Bond's intent, was for him to commit suicide, of course. You know,
it's not like he was trying to give you an honorable way out,
right? But that is a nice little touch that there is an odd little connection there. You know.
Well, and I think
it just proves their age.
Well, yeah, but I think it shows too. Like here he is, like trying to uncover what's really happening with these jewels and all that. Uncovers like something from her past that links them. Whereas she's trying to recruit him, all the while like the Russians are using her.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a really, like you said, there's multiple villains here that are doing their own thing, and she just kind of has her own racket and is being used by Olaf and the Soviets.
She's involved in the jewelry smuggling aspect of it. She doesn't know about the other kind of political intrigue.
She doesn't know about the bomb that's supposed to mimic a nuke from NATO, like in Eastern Europe, or I guess
right, to presumably lead to the disarmament of the West, so that Orlov can then attack.
Yeah. Like that's the plot here that we're working with.
And it's not that unreasonable, really.
I think it plays into the psyche of what was happening at the time.
Yeah.
But like I said, but she isn't on board with that and whatnot,
or at least she claims.
Yeah, for the most, at least she definitely isn't when she realized that she's going to be killed.
Yeah, she wants to live like an honest thief.
Yeah,
not a
Yeah. And that's where she hey, live here on my island with me and the women and all that. Like,
it kind of goes back to the last movie we were talking about, Columbo, where he's like, "Hey, I'm a smuggler, but they've crossed the line." Yeah. You know, like she's like, "Hey, I'm all about stealing priceless artifacts and becoming rich off of it, but I'm not going to blow up people."
But no, I definitely liked the alligator scene, him sneaking onto the island and whatnot with the women. And then, like, even from there, trying to infiltrate them and essentially always get caught.
But then he gets to sleep with Octopussy. And then a yo-yo man attacks them.
Yeah. Thankfully, Bond noticed it right before, through the water dripping onto him from overhead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, move.
And that was a decent fight. I know that Alex particularly thinks that Moore isn't good with action scenes or fight scenes, and I'm not going to say that he's the best. I think he's fine. But he did pretty good in this one. I made sure to take special note because now you got that in my brain all the time. And
I definitely noticed this too.
He did well in it. He threw some decent punches, and it was fun little fight scene, in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't know that I paid too much attention to more in this fight scene because I just couldn't get over that somebody was trying to kill him with a giant yo-yo. I was just like, what the fuck is this? I don't get it. Why did people think this was a good idea?
Running out of weapons.
Like I said, it could have been done better. Like I said, it was a great idea, terrible execution.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I mean, it is a limited capability weapon for sure. You got to be overhead ultimately to make it.
Yes.
So thankfully,
and you can't catch it.
Octopussy had a viewing area.
Yeah, it comes back. How are you catching it?
Well, and that's like I said, if you would have done it like Go-Go character from Kill Bill, it would have been great. Because then all it is just moving the chain around with the saw at the end of it, and you could have done it so much better and all. And I think that's really what they were. Like I said, I get the idea, just terrible with what you had to work with at the time, cinema-wise. Like the camera can't do what you're imagining.
No,
and there were so many cuts in him just doing.
But that's what
one yo-yo,
and movement. That's what it was. If you think about it, because like you don't have what we have now to be able to like show something that's so unrealistic without making it would be like a cutscene then cutscene. Like you wouldn't be able to, like I said, you can't catch it. It would be like that scene from Road Warrior where like, the guy tried to catch the boomerang and it cut his fingers off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It would
that's
be
how it should have happened with that.
It would have been that. You're like, oh,
thing.
You have one throw, and as soon as it comes back, you're screwed.
Yeah, no, if it doesn't come back perfectly, right here, lined up with your hand, you're getting it chopped off.
So it's
no way.
Now, Tommy, you say Kill Bill, but if we look back at Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze, Michelangelo beat some people up with that fucking yo-yo.
He did.
He did.
He
had the technique down.
The difference is
walk the dog.
Around
the world.
The Ninja Turtles is a comedy,
right?
And this is a spy thriller flick,
right?
Kill Bill was a tale of revenge.
Should have changed the genre to comedy in it too, because it was so silly.
It's PG.
I'm saying this as a true question. It's not an attempt to be argumentative, but a curiosity, really. So I don't disagree. The weapon is kind of silly, of course. Is it any more silly than Oddjob throwing a hat?
No.
I think all we're arguing is how over the top impractical it is.
It was very impractical. I could put a blade on a hat and throw it. I mean,
but I'm not trying to catch the blade with the hat as it comes back at me. It's like once I throw the hat, Oddjob's hat stays.
He has to go get it.
Yeah.
Not like that. I mean, I didn't want to get into like the physics of it necessarily because I don't think the physics of it work either.
You got to be willing to suspend your disbelief.
Right? Yeah, I don't want to get into like that because I also think you'd have to put like weights in the goddamn yo-yo to make it actually cut anything.
It was just dumb because the only way it could be used is if he was above you.
Yes, it's impractical.
Only thing it could be used appropriately is if he was above you. Other than that, he had to hold it the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, he kills VJ with it, and only because VJ is fishing and he's up on a dock.
Well, and somebody is holding VJ to take the hit. That's the thing is VJ doesn't even get a chance to roll out the way.
If it was VJ and no one was holding him,
because he was still alive when old boy found him. He said so.
How awful! Yeah, when Kia came back to get him, he didn't still
even
alive.
die.
Presumably a giant cut into his chest cavity.
Yeah, so you're just it didn't even coup de grace you and everything. Basically, just all right, you're just gonna bleed out, and we're just gonna leave you
here.
That's
rough, man. And VJ was a good dude.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Definitely one of my favorite sidekicks.
I was a little surprised when Q said, "Well, he was still alive when I got here," and I was like, "Ugh."
Made it rough.
Yeah, that's a brutal way to go.
Yeah.
Poor VJ.
Yeah, poor VJ is right.
And we haven't even really talked about when Bond originally though got captured by old boy and is trying to listen to the transmitter that they put in the egg and all, and is sneaking around the compound of
Khan.
Yeah, of Khan, because then that leads to the whole elephant chase scene and whatnot. There's a lot that happened.
That's worth mentioning.
The elephant chase scene. Tom and I kind of talked about this earlier. Is all over the place. And I told Tom, I think the only reason they did it was to show us a jungle. I said a couple movies ago that they took us to Egypt because it was someplace they'd never been before. But I also mentioned that same sentence that the only thing left for us to go, I think, is the jungle. And they took us there, but they took us there in a pretty piss poor scene.
Or became a visit to the zoo.
Yeah, it was. I'll say again, I liked it for what it was. I do agree that they're going to take full advantage of the setting and the things that people expect to see there, like Indian elephants and that
Tigers
sort of thing.
and
It also
crocodiles.
though lent
Spiders.
itself to Khan was said to be a sporting man, so instead of he could have immediately just had Bond killed after Bond escaped by pretending to be dead. But instead he says like, oh, the hunt is on. So he makes it into a game of sorts. I like the scene overall. I did have a real problem with Bond hiding and then seemingly, out of nowhere then being right there underneath the elephant to loosen its saddle or whatever you call it. It's like, how did he get there? Because he was hiding at least 20 yards away. And then, hey, here he is under the. Oh, I did take issue with that.
But he also escaped a tiger.
Wow. Yeah. He told it to sit.
Yeah.
Sit.
Tiger wasn't hungry.
I have no problem with any of this silliness. I think it's awesome.
No, but the silliest part we haven't even talked about yet.
No.
He swings on vines and does the Tarzan yell.
I'm not against the swinging of the vine. Once again, impractical, but I'm not against it. It's the soundtrack you use.
Yes.
I could have accepted like a single swing to escape, but once you start going vine to vine, you have gone too far at this juncture, and I don't like the Tarzan scream. But again, I'm very forgiving of Moore's movies apparently because I was able to move on very quickly.
Oh, it irritated. I literally have Tarzan. What the fuck written in my notes.
That's what I said when I heard it. I was like, "What the fuck?" As he was swinging through the air. It's like,
I was very taken back by the stupidity that was that. I can't get over the fact that a whole panel full of grown men decided that was a good idea.
I think what it's like, it was all situational comedy, all leading up to the one joke he told in the boat and everything.
Which was a great joke.
Yeah, just like, oh, the economy class or whatever.
They said, are you with our tour? As he climbs into like these American tours, and he goes, economy tour.
Yeah,
which pretty good.
Once it all sets up with it, like, but then too, like this whole time though, Conlon is a sporting man and is, I guess you'd say, is trying to kill him, but he's been told by Octopussy not to kill Bond.
Yeah, which Khan is trying to keep up appearances with Octopussy. He doesn't want to completely betray her because he wants to keep that gravy train going.
Because he's with the Russians,
right?
Like, because Olaf meets with him, and that's who Bond hears their plot and everything in here. So that's how he learns the Russians are involved.
Yes.
So it's like a big part of the plot, and we get to see him use the little part that like dissolves steel or whatnot. So there's some cool gadgets in there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the jungle scene, another thing that bothered me with it was I felt like too quickly it jumped all the time. Like it was like jump and then jump and then jump and then jump. It was just cut.
They wanted to cram India down your throat, like the Indian jungle, because they were going to leave it soon.
Yeah.
They're going to be in East and West Germany and all that. So it's like, hey, like they already showed you a flash of the Taj Mahal. You had a chase scene through the streets. You've seen an island with some water and all, and now they're going to show you everything else. Like the tigers, the gators, the spiders, the elephants. The leech. Yeah, the leeches, like pretty much everything that, like you would think is like stereotypical bad in the jungle. You got to see a cutscene of it, and you got to see like a Bond scare reaction. Like that's what you got out of that. It was like situational comedy is what that was. Like in a serious situation, because like I said, he is being hunted, but like I said, you can tell by the music that he's in no danger at all during this time.
A whole bunch of filler.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it could have been, you could have shortened it by far. Like you could have cut out like the tiger, the alligator, and the spider part, and just had him hunted with the elephants, and then like made his way to water after undoing the harness or something like that. Like, it could have been done really well. You just did too much and ran it into the ground.
Definitely did too much.
Yeah, like, because like I said, you cut out those and just, like I said, cut out the Tarzan scene, not a bad clip.
If you cut out the Tarzan scene, I would be okay with the scene more.
Even how he escaped was kind of cartoonish, you could think, because, like, he posed as a dead body that they're throwing away, and then how
But then burst out in the middle of them.
Well, that's the thing is that you're like,
so...
like you're like scaring them as a ghost, like, it's like, and that's
But
frightening
I
them
thought
away.
about that, and
like,
that is what I would do.
You wouldn't
considering the circumstances.
If they were just going to throw you in a ditch and leave you there, and you could get up and walk away.
I would just wait till they left, and then got out.
Yes, you waited until you were in the middle of an entire hunting party and then set up.
Well, I don't know that he knew there was a hunting party there.
Yeah,
I doubt very much. No, but if you're in a situation where you're enclosed
how
in
would he know they didn't have guns?
and then you know people are basically over top of you, and your goal is obviously just escape, I would do this. I would try to startle them, and then just do what I can within that moment.
Well, I mean, if that's your choice, you would try to startle them 100%. I agree with that. But I'm just saying, why didn't he just let them throw him in the ditch with the rest of the dead bodies and then get up and walk away after they're gone?
Well, I don't know that he, first of all, knew what they would be doing.
Well, he knew they were getting rid of dead bodies because he was
you can get rid of
around dead bodies when he got in the bag.
I'd say feed them to alligators and all that doesn't mean I want to be in the bag.
But at the same time,
can you burn the bodies?
Yeah, that's true.
We're in Indy. You can do whatever you want,
but he put himself
man.
at a disadvantage anyway because he couldn't see, and then he just started yelling. How does? If I was a guy and he did that, and I had a gun, I'm gonna shoot him. Well, before he can even take the zipper down to see what's going on.
Clearly, it's okay to kill this person because we already thought they were dead.
Yeah.
So I would have no problem.
Well, these are bodies that were hung up on meat hooks.
Yeah. So it's like.
So it's possible one of them, survive.
Yeah, I think in a situation, and again, it's a James Bond movie. I'm very willing to suspend my disbelief, and I can even noodle out to some degree with this one. Like, he doesn't have many choices.
I just know that from the start when he came up, but I was rolling.
Not a fan of
That's how I knew that we were gonna have this is gonna be some interesting piece of cinema here. Yeah. I forgot about a lot of the nonsense, to be honest with you, but I was like,
I didn't.
I didn't remember the Tarzan scene as a kid. I didn't remember a lot of that.
No, I didn't remember that as a kid, but I remember feeling that as a kid, I felt that it was a kid's movie when I watched it. That's how silly it was.
Until we get to old Octopussy's hideout and all.
Yeah, with her thing 1, thing 2 jumpsuits. Those things are terrible. or they look like the freaking Incredibles.
Yeah.
And why did some women have them and the other ones didn't?
It's a ranking system,
I guess.
Yeah, like
those are the
Enterprise.
ones that can make a trapeze appear out of thin air and attach to anything.
The Star Trek ranking system.
Oh man.
Well, for the rest of the movie, from this point on, Bond's dressed ridiculously.
Yeah,
he's either a clown or another circus performer for the rest of the movie, essentially.
Yeah, he dressed up like old boy's brother.
Yeah.
Well, you can't forget about when he first meets Octopussy, and it looks like Cayman Jack. Yeah. His little sport coat.
By the way, speaking of him dressed in the red knife throwers getup, he's dressed in that while he's trying to get to the circus. And he's jogging, he's riding with somebody, and then he gets his own car and all that stuff. He's dressed in that. The jogging scene was painful.
Oh, because he can't move.
He can't move. Yeah, he clearly can't run, and he was trying, and it looked like he was in pain. He looked like, oh, my knees can't do this. Fuck. Oh man, I can't run.
When those kids said, "See you,"
which is something teenagers would do, by the way.
But to be honest, but my first thought was like, I don't need it. I can only be 23 miles the other direction. Fuck these kids. I'll let this bomb go off. But the running, I took that as dude, look at the shoes you're wearing. I wouldn't want to run on concrete in that shit either. I'd be rather jogging in the grass barefoot.
I don't know, dude. It was bad. I was this is something he can't pull off. They should have had a body double do this.
He wasn't even wearing loafers. Yeah, you could have probably had a body double do it.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way.
He looked like he was in pain. He was like, I can't run.
I would be in pain at that point. Yeah, you had the train scene and everything else after that or before that. I would have taken that beer and sausage from that old woman at that point.
Oh yeah, 100% there.
Hey, you're right. I'm about to.
But here's my thing. Here was my thing. He's pretty desperate at this point, trying to get to the circus.
Oh, dude! Even when he was in the circus, in the actual main ring, it looked like he's about to cry. When
he did.
I want to point out that he's trying desperately to get to the circus at this point because he's uncovered a bomb plot.
Yes.
So Orlov is going to bomb Octopussy's circus because the nature of the bomb, I think,
mimics a NATO nuclear war, but because it's not nuclear, it won't be detected by the radar.
And he thinks that this will lead the Western nations to move toward disarmament while he's trying to make sure the USSR does not, so he can impose will upon the West.
They want to make it look like it was our accident, so we'll be more cautious and try to de-escalate our own stuff.
Yes. So that's why the chase is on to get there.
So he's desperate at this point to get to the circus, and those kids pull that kind of trick on him, okay? But here's my thing. If you're he's literally in a life or death situation, like millions of people are going to die. Would it have been too far for them to have him pull his gun, fire a shot in the air, and be like, give me the fucking car?
I feel like he could have done that to there were multiple cars that passed him. He could have just stood there and pointed the gun and somebody will stop.
Yeah. Would that have been unbond? I mean, we're literally talking like, hey man, like millions of people are gonna die. I need this fucking car.
Oh yeah, but you're talking about a bomb, nuclear-esque bomb going off.
I'm gonna say
there's no time for the gentleman.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no because, like I said, just like hours before, he was shooting Russians in the forehead.
Yeah, but those are bad guys. These are just innocent people. I'm not.
Yeah, but you're not saying shoot a child. You're
right.
Saying, you're saying let one loose in the air and scare the crap out of them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like I'm not above scaring somebody. I'll terrify you. But that's not a problem.
He's not above scaring people. He was in a body bag and scared the crap.
I was gonna say he's not either. Everything. There's therapists for those people. Like, go see one.
But they're all. But essentially, he would be saving their life if he did it.
Well, yeah.
I mean.
So no, I think it's totally within Bond's character. Like I said, he's not hurting the innocent. Mm-hmm. It's okay to scare people.
I mean, that's where I land on it, too.
I just took it as the opportunity didn't arise for him to be able to do that. He was able to get a ride with this German couple.
Which was funny.
In their V-dub.
I think they wanted that scene. They wanted a German offering sausage and beer.
Yeah.
The writers wanted to shoehorn a stereotype in there about that. Like, let's be honest.
Well, they just gave us a whole bunch of Indian stereotypes, so I guess why not throw the German ones in there?
You got to. Like, you're German, you know damn well you eat sausage. Like, it's fine. Like, Oktoberfest was just last weekend. We all celebrated.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. But but he does get his ride and whatnot to the circus and all.
And then he gets in a car chase.
Which give it to the German police. Like, best drivers and all that in any of the movies, just regular police force chasing after Bond. The way they drove those cars and all that beats some of the special agents we've seen in past movies, I think.
Yeah.
Like, hands down.
Yeah, it was almost like Jason Bourne was chasing James Bond or some shit.
They're spinning it and everything. Their cars around and whatnot. It's like, oh, nobody. Like Bond hasn't even pulled off some of these moves. Like, we just seen him and the chick in Italy in the little French car or whatnot. Like,
it was
took
just
a beating.
But it was just one of the cops. A bunch of the cops kept like wrecking and like sliding off the road. It was one cop that was just all about it. Like he's like, I got you.
He was ready for Bond.
Yeah. He's like, he wanted to be something more in his career.
Yeah,
this is what I've been training for.
Yeah, like he takes his job very seriously. Like, he's e-braking and shifting on a dime, dude. Like, they'd bust in there. I'd be so irritated at the guy at the main gate if I was Bond.
Yeah.
Like, you get there, you trying to be calm about everything and whatnot. Like, you think you're going to get through, and then it's like, fuck, now I got to do this the hard way and just gun it.
I mean, I guess in reality, though, like, he doesn't have any ID or anything to tell them that
the police are chasing him.
Yeah, and the police are chasing him, yeah.
Might as well just say, my name is Bond. James Bond. Like,
he might have been able... He should have tried it. I mean, like, most people know who he is.
Yeah, just announce you're in the military. You might have heard lore and all that of it. So where it's like, hey, I'm 007. Like, oh, shit? Like, go on in. Like,
is this the first time we've seen Bond, like, go into a situation and nobody believes that he's a good guy?
I don't know in this type of situation specifically, but
sure.
But I mean, I guess you could say he did steal that woman's car. Like,
he did do that.
She was taking too long on the phone, so I mean, they did think that we were just chasing a car thief that just crashed into a military base that has a circus in it for some reason.
By the way, again, I'm going to go to this too far question. Would it have been too far if he would have just grabbed the woman, jerked her out of the box, and made a phone call?
Yeah, I considered that as well. Maybe he should have done it, but then he wouldn't get to steal that sweet Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
true. That's true.
he might have. Well, I don't know. Because that begs the question: would he have gotten further just like being socially rude rather than stealing your car? Yeah, like,
Right, because I mean, like, then he makes that phone call. He calls MI6 and is like, "Hey, there's a giant bomb gonna go off. We need to get agents there now." And all of a sudden, he has support, and everybody knows he's coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. And then you don't have to go through the arguing with the police and fighting people as a clown, and all this stuff.
God, it'd be so frustrating. Like,
It would. I completely identify with his frustration when he's the clown.
I was physically irritated. I could feel myself getting mad.
You were irritated, but at the same time, you can't blame the people either.
But I think
Like he's ruining your show, and you don't know why.
That's why I was mad though.
There's good drama there.
Yeah.
Very good drama.
Like I definitely felt frustrated and all that. Like shit. Like just let the man have the bomb. Like
I even loved, and I thought there was a lot of good tenseness. I guess that's maybe the right word in that scene. And I even loved. Of course, this is toward the end of the scene when Bond disarms the bomb by removing it.
Yeah.
It even goes down all the way to 0.
Yeah.
But then the little I don't know what the cylinders
Little
pop out
pins
or
pop
whatever.
out, yeah.
And it looked awesome. I hadn't seen a bomb, or
Disarming.
thank you, done quite like that. I thought it was really good.
How many bombs has Bond disarmed at this point? It's been a handful.
All I could think about was the one with the magnet that we had to see him
Yeah.
do. Like,
That was really good too.
That was in
when-
Live and Let Die.
when old boy was like, "You ever done this before?" Like first time, like, oh fuck.
I
Like,
don't remember. Yeah, was it magnetized? And if
Yeah,
they touch
and
the
you
sides,
just hear the magnet as it's coming closer and all
Like
that.
an
Like,
intense game of operation.
yeah. But that Octopussy was pissed that she was double crossed though.
Yeah, and then she sicked her circus army on him.
Yep.
Well, they were going to murder her.
And then the hot
I
air.
mean, they were,
the
yeah.
hot air balloon of doom comes in.
Oh, jeez. Now, we return to stupidity.
Oh.
Here we go.
The balloon of doom.
The circus freaks attack the
Circus freaks.
the big
like
compound.
25-year-old lovely ladies.
Well, we're gonna call them freaks because all of a sudden, out of the sky
freaks in the
comes all this
street.
circus equipment for them to use to kill people.
Yeah.
They're not freaks. They're people too.
Magic trapeze. Just
No,
swinging through the
they're
air.
freaks
What are
because
attached
they
to?
can apparently cast magical spells and pull trapeze and shit out of the sky.
I don't know. Q had those ropes that were going up and everything.
Yeah.
We don't know what they had.
Did you realize that?
Whose side are you on, Ray?
Whoever I want to be on.
No, you didn't like this movie. You already told us that.
She got dressed to storm this.
Oh yeah, no,
She
you got
changed her clothes.
you got you.
And she had terrible shoes on so that she
Yeah.
could storm cons of
Well, let's be honest. Every woman dresses up for a breakup, and
Oh,
she's
man,
about
it's
to make
terrible.
a big business breakup
I'm like,
with this
you-
dude. Like,
You're about to get tactical on.
By
that
the
people.
way, and he
Yeah.
tries to defend himself when
With
she
the
gets
old
there. That's the best part.
Like, what?
Luckily,
I was
he
doing
has-
this for you.
Yeah, look,
I was just coming to get this stuff.
we can
What?
print as much money as
What?
we want. Like,
But it doesn't change the fact that I would have been dead if
Yeah,
Bond
you
wouldn't have
left
stopped
a
it.
bomb But I was going to get this for you. I figured you still be there. Just come on,
That
dude.
that didn't work out for him.
Oh, man.
oh,
Khan was actually quite stupid. I think his most clever scene is the whole backgammon thing that was between him and Bond. It was cool.
he could have definitely got away if he would have played his cards right from the whole thing.
He shouldn't have ever gone back to his compound.
No.
Really. I think he really could have played. He could have played the Russians and
'Cause
Octopussy
didn't
and
he
got
already-
away. Just
He
completely
already had
free.
the jewels. He didn't need to go back to get those plates. He could have left them there.
Or he could have taken it with him because he knew he
Or
was doing this ahead of
or
time.
already took it with him because he knew he was going to, like I said, knew he was going to double cross him. He knew he was going to leave. Why'd you leave that shit in your home?
Yeah.
But Bond messed everything up, and then he ended up.
With Q in the hot air balloon.
Oh, and Orlov's dead at this point. I don't think we ever said that. The Russians actually killed Orlov.
On the-
Once again, he tried, defecting and all that. Like it was during the train scene earlier.
Gogol
Like,
took care of that.
yeah, he was tired of that shit. Like, where do you think you're going? And then they popped the trunk and found all the stuff in there. Like,
Oh, see?
yeah, traitor. Like, and then he
Mhm.
figured out the plan and whatnot. Like it was, yeah. Like he died early on too.
Orlov had a good death though.
He got shot in the back.
For yeah,
But he was alive, and he had that moment with Gogol where he died truly believing that he was going to be a hero.
Yeah, he
For-
did.
I mean,
for
if
an
you gotta
ideology,
go,
yeah.
I mean,
he believed in that ideology.
he
up to the
died
end.
with bliss on his face almost.
Yeah.
Truly.
I mean, he was wrong, but yes.
Yeah, he was
very
wrong.
wrong.
But yeah. But that doesn't matter.
No one remembered him.
We will. We'll remember Orlov. He'll go down in podcast history.
This episode's dedicated
But
to.
no, they
Poor General
going
Orlov. He
down in
deserved better.
history, though. I guess let's go ahead and skip to like the plane scene and all that with these fools. Then,
You mean Indiana Jones?
yeah, like basically and all that. Like first off, one of the most dedicated henchmen and all that. Hardly any lines in this movie. Gets told to go out there on basically a single man plane.
He's like, what?
With a knife. Doesn't even
knife.
give you a gun. He just gives you a knife. Go out there and take care of him. While Bond's just. Meanwhile, this plane is barrel rolled, mind you, and everything
Yes.
up in the air.
Hats off to the stuntmen, because there was somebody really on that plane flown
I can't
outside
imagine.
of it.
Can
I
you
mean, yeah, they
imagine
had
the grip.
they
you
had
would
cables
need?
or stuff like that, probably keeping them
Oh,
still to do that
Sweet Jesus.
in the air when you
Yeah.
can probably hardly breathe.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know that you could have paid me enough to do that.
No.
No, it's frightening.
I'm
Crazy
definitely
frightening.
taking a shot before I do
Well,
it.
you just a couple
Like,
just a couple movies earlier, one of the stuntmen dying in a helicopter.
Yeah, and
well,
he- and
playing
he-
on another movie, but still.
Either way, he was on the ground.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, but yeah, they because then then it finally gets got because they're like slapped in the face by an antenna, goes flying right off, and then from there, and
Yeah, that was silly.
I don't understand
I
this
saw
part.
his parachute.
Yeah. I'm definitely not going out there without a parachute.
Well, no, he didn't have one when he went out. But I mean, the stunt guy that jumped off
but
the
I'm
plane
saying,
had a parachute
if
on.
I'm the guy, like, hey, I'm definitely not going out there without a parachute. Like, you can keep barrel rolling all day. His grip will give out sooner or later. Like, there's no need for me to go out
at
there.
the speed and the force that's
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, hey, we're going to land at some point.
And he
We're gonna
can't
last
get
that
in
long.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like can't do nothing. Like, I guess he sent him out there because he started fucking with one of the engines. is
Yeah,
what
he
he
was
did.
fucking with shit.
Because
Yeah.
He
Bond
pulled
was
an
gonna
already
go,
disconnected wire out, and it
yeah,
stopped.
Bond was going to go kamikaze
Yeah, he killed
on
the
the whole
motor.
thing.
Just-
Yeah, that's true.
randomly
And he
pulled
also I don't know if it was at that point yet, but he also makes the plane go into a dive by pushing one of
Yeah,
the.
Yeah, he starts pushing his
with
feet.
his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, really, is it that weak that you can take your toes? Because he was on his belly,
Yeah.
and he took his toes.
And yeah, he's just
and bent
flexing. Well, and I guess this would, even when they do get close enough, when him and old girl jump off, you're still in a plane.
They should not be. They shouldn't survive that.
Oh, you're gonna
just
get
jumped off a
you're gonna
moving
get
plane.
you're gonna get fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're still in basically a thing that can glide. You don't have to nosedive to your death.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can,
Con was
and it's an
stupid. He
open
just was like,
canyon.
eh.
You could have just glided out and tried. Yeah,
Well, he kind of did. He went around the little bend.
Yeah,
there, and
but
then
I
I assume
he
he
just
lost control of it.
honestly, there has to be something there. But yeah, that was the
it's
big
not like
plot hole
Bond
for
was
me.
holding it the whole time.
No,
holding
and
that part
was the thing,
down.
is
You
like
could probably move it
you're
after
in
he
a
moved his foot.
plane. You're basically just a glider at this point. You're good. I seen a canyon when we'd seen the shot of what you're going to. Like
Yeah,
you're
just-
fine.
just
Like,
lower
Well, he
yourself
also
out and-
it also drove across the ground for like 50 yards. You'd think maybe you'd at least try and brake so that it doesn't
well,
go off the cliff to begin with.
Yeah.
no, I don't think there was any stopping it. Like I said, you're
Or he.
The
Well,
plane's
apparently,
gonna
if they can
control-
jump off, why can't he? Open the door and jump out.
Well, as we can see throughout
More
these
silliness.
more movies, that there's a lot of intelligence agents, not a whole lot of intelligence.
Yeah, it's lacking the common sense of it, I guess. But then we cut to Bond on a boat.
Oh,
Like,
big surprise there!
with
Bond on a
Octopussy.
boat.
Yep, and he's got that quick release to bring that leg down and all.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's all got all of his
vulnerable and-
injuries and
He's like,
stuff.
what?
I'm
I'm never too vulnerable to get.
Yeah, this just means you're on top.
Yep.
Just
And then another unnecessary scene when Bond's running down the road and that red car stops and all them girls are waving, and then the car just drives off. Why the fuck did we need that in there? Just left Bond in the dust. No ride to town. Peace out, buddy.
I'm trying to remember that scene. It must have slipped my mind.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
When was that, Ray?
Hold on.
I buy it. I just don't recall it well.
It was like right at the end.
Okay.
Not sure.
After him getting it on with Octopussy?
No, well, hold on. It's like right before the bomb goes off and he gets to the bomb.
Oh, it's one of the cars that drives
Yeah.
by and was running on the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
It
There
wasn't
was
one
a
of
handful of
Octopus-
different
Like I
cars.
said, yeah.
It wasn't one of Octopussy, not her group of bitches, but it was this random people in a
But that's
random
why I
women
said,
in a
like,
car.
what Holt said earlier, like, dude, he could. There were multiple cars, and they were all driving very German. But like, you could have just stood there with your gun out and everything, and one of them's gonna stop.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna scare an average citizen if you're just in the road in general, let alone if you have a gun pointing at them.
Definitely
Like,
gonna piss
they're
their
gonna
leader
stop. Yeah, like you're especially back then. Like you're fine. Like you're gonna get what you want because they're probably unarmed. Like you can take this without much of an argument. Like especially at the east and west side, in Germany in that time. Yeah, you're probably have a very little fight. Like
Yeah, that's probably true.
like,
Like I said, they're pissing their leader hosing.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, Barry.
but no. Overall though, I really liked this movie.
Yeah, I
Like
remember
said,
that, yeah.
Like
Okay.
like
that was-
Sorry, thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, does anybody else have anything they want to bring up before we move on to rankings?
I did have a note here. It said, I don't know what they call that guy with the saw blade, but if we called him Saul, then we could make a sentence with villain names like this Jaws does odd jobs with a handsaw for Dr. No.
All right, Ray. Thanks for that. I think
welcome.
we're all better off having heard that.
You are.
I did have one thing I wanted to bring up real quick. I believe this is the 4th movie in a row without Felix.
yes.
Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
definitely the longest period we've gone without Felix.
Felix is definitely on hiatus.
He hasn't Live and Let Die is the last movie he's been in, so that's what 4 is. Isn't that 4 in a row?
Yeah.
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 You got Golden Gun, Diamonds, Her Majesty's.
Yeah.
No, I got something else. But yeah.
So yeah, 4 movies in a row without Felix. And to be honest with you, I don't think he's gonna be in the next one. So
No, he's not.
But to be honest,
I
like,
don't think you see
yeah, it
Felix
doesn't-
again until we switch bonds.
It doesn't really bother me a
Yeah.
whole lot though, because
he was just such a he was almost in almost every movie.
Yeah.
And
Well, you can see that they were developing a closeness.
and Roger Moore got his best friend hired as Felix in his first movie, and then he's pretty much not come back. Like I was
I
just
guess
like,
with this one, you probably didn't need a Felix because they didn't do anything in the States, right?
right, but but Moore's been to the States multiple times.
Oh yeah,
And one time he worked with the CIA and just wasn't him.
yeah. It was just good head.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not saying it's necessarily good or bad. It's an interesting
like
thing
we
that.
talked about, they tried different things with more movies. So it, like I said, will probably pop back up later on and see how he gets. Like I said, is there a way they write him back in, or does he just appear?
No,
Like,
I mean,
really
I
think
know-
you don't see him again until
License to Kill.
yeah.
I know he's all throughout that movie. He's
'cause,
in
I mean,
like
that's-
almost the whole thing. He's really kind of the main character in that movie.
Mhm.
But like, I don't remember if he's shows up in the first Dalton movie.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Second one for sure.
Yeah, I know he's in the second one. Yeah, I can't remember if he's in the first one or if he's in View to a Kill. I can't remember that either.
I don't think he is in that first Dalton one.
So we might potentially go 6, 7, 8 movies without Felix.
which once again, I'd rather them phase him out and use him less than shoehorn a character in there just because.
I would agree
They
with
have so
that.
many
Yeah,
different
I don't
characters.
I don't
That's
necessarily
my-
need him in there for
Yeah,
nothing.
That's my thing. Is like I don't need you to have this character in here just because I'm used to them, because I feel like then we run the risk of making them cartoonish or like ruining like the character itself.
I think the Daniel Craig ones, sprinkled him in pretty perfectly, probably.
I don't remember. I don't remember. To be honest,
You had him in the first one, you had him in Quantum of Solace, and then I think he was sprinkled throughout the last two.
Yeah, 'cause-
I can't remember if he's in the Brosnan movies or not.
No, I don't think he is at all.
mm-mm.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Does anybody else have anything before we move on to rankings?
No.
Nope.
All right. Well, that will end this portion of the episode and move us into rankings. And I again, in the body count portion here, I have this with 2.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just Magda and Octopussy. And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Turdy tree.
which you would think an island full of women there'd be at least our gentlemen's three.
Yeah.
And Sean Connery would have done it.
Yeah,
Well, apparently, what's his face? Lazenby would have done it too.
yeah.
Oh, Hilly.
Man. So we're now at 33 through 13 movies.
Yep.
Again, nothing to complain about, but still we're falling off our pace.
Yeah.
Well, that will move us into Bond girls. So, gentlemen, we are going to rank Octopussy here, and
She's our Bond girl.
Barry.
Yeah.
Where would you like to put Octopussy on the rankings?
Well, here's the thing with Octopussy is she runs her own, first of all, criminal enterprise
She does.
and legitimate enterprises as well. She seems to be feared by a lot of people and respected. Would we agree with that? I mean, it's fair
sure.
to say, isn't it?
It's very fair to say. I don't care about it, but it's fair to
Yeah,
say.
that's not how yeah.
Oh, I thought we took into account.
No, you take into account. The rest of us don't.
Tom does too.
Tom doesn't care about the. No, Tom very much does not care.
She's also clearly a very attractive woman.
Okay.
I'd place her because of all of she's very important to the film. I'd place her at 3.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
All
I'm
right.
gonna guess you guys.
No, I want Ray's ranking next because he told me what it was before we started. Now this is going to get good. Ray, what's your ranking?
I think I would probably put her last.
That's, yeah, 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to go with 10.
I was
Okay.
about to say moving good head and kissy down.
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. She's right behind Pussy. Yeah, pussies that go together. You keep the pussies together.
Do you?
Well, Tom, where are you at, sir?
I'm
Two
at
pussies
the
better
bottom.
than one
good
pussy.
hit.
I was gonna make her 12.
Oh, so you're going to push Tracy down one.
Okay.
So we have a 12, a 13, 2 10s, and a 3. One of these is not like the others.
I'm the outlier,
Dude.
obviously. You guys are welcome to place her as you like.
because of how good her role was in the movie and the power dynamic of her role
Well,
in the movie.
and she's a beautiful woman as well.
Yeah, but like I
Right.
said, I like that. We're
Yeah, but
splitting
she-
hairs. All these women are beautiful, Barry.
How
Like,
long does it take for her to show up in the movie?
Yeah, you
A
see
good
the back
amount.
of her head
She's
when
not,
you first
yeah,
introduce her.
she's
You
not
don't even see her
revealed
face.
immediately.
She just talks.
But she's a key component to the whole thing. She's not
I
just
think you could remove her and the plot of the movie would be fine.
Yeah, you just.
You're still
Khan-
dealing with
Khan would
the
just
with
take
the jewels
out.
and the bomb.
Yeah, it would just be Khan.
well, but that's not what the movie is, though.
I mean, that's the plot of the movie. He's trying to, Bond's trying to find these jewel thieves, and all of a sudden a bomb appears, and he has to
And then by
deal with the
that,
bomb.
We could say like, well, what if Solitaire wasn't in the movie and I'm using tarot cards?
Yeah, but
What
the,
if
you're
Mr.
the,
Big
but,
just did.
but you,
We're not
I was
ranking
just
him over the plot of the movie.
yeah, but that's a whole different
Oh, I
argument.
thought we were taking.
No,
I
man.
take
This
many
is
things into account.
this
with
is
the
strictly
ranking
man
of Bond
business here,
girls.
man. This
No,
is
you keep bringing it up. We keep telling you we don't care about it, then you keep bringing it up again. I mean, it is what it is. If that's what you want to
All right.
have your vote count,
will.
that's fine. I don't care.
I take the actress's physical appearance along with the role itself into account.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm kind of the same way, Barry, until the movie sucks, and then I have to downgrade the bitches.
So let me ask you this, man, because I do think Kissy plays a very vital role in her movie.
Kissy's role is split between her
If you take Kissy
and
out-
the other girl.
no. Who's going to go get the
My
Green
homegirl
Cavalry?
that I should have put at 1, and they killed that.
They did.
And well,
Yeah.
not only that, but I feel like Tracy plays a pretty big role in her movie
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Well,
and she's
again,
last.
Again, that's not the entirety of my decision making. It's part of it.
It's because she
Yeah, because really, Honey
Plot-
Rider doesn't
it's-
dick
it-
to the storyline.
no, it's plot
Honey
age.
Rider was just some brother showed up 20 channels.
Yeah,
Plot and
That's
age
right.
is What,
Like,
what
hey, like,
got
who's
your
this chick?
decision.
Come hang out
Yeah.
with me. Like,
She's
better
a
off
more
not hanging out
mature
with
woman.
Bond at all.
Yeah, I
She is.
appreciate that she's not 23. That's fine.
How do you appreciate that?
He likes a more mature woman. He said it several times.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, I value maturity as well, but I value youth a little bit more. Like, just
it's more fun.
like, and if I can find a mature
Just to be
youthful
honest,
person,
this conversation's gonna go to a bad place. We're gonna have to
Oh,
do
it is. I mean, everybody except him is gonna get.
What's that phrase, Barry? The older the berry, the sweeter the juice.
The darker the berry, the sweeter.
Is she paid?
I say now that I say all the time.
Oh man.
Oh god.
Oh shit. Where are we gonna put this lady at?
I have no idea.
Oh my
Well, I
gosh.
concede to your guys' positioning entirely.
No, because you're just gonna keep using this as an excuse. That's
Well,
not my list.
But I'm not.
Everyone over here on this couch too, so it's all right. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I recognize I'm the odd man out on it, and so I'll just respect your guys' placement.
just wait till we get to Ray, and they're like, "Not my Bond." Like,
So,
just,
in between Pussy and Good Head.
Well, that's the two of us at it, and then
Yeah.
they're even lower.
So maybe after Good Head and before Kissy.
You know, I can get on board with 11.
yeah.
Okay, so we meet at 11.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Just because, like I said, Kissy's role was was split. Like, so yeah, like,
I
Yeah.
don't care.
yeah.
I don't care. I'm just thinking, if I'm in a bed, who the heck do I want there? I'm not thinking of
Dr.
Octopussy first.
Like,
All right. Well, I think we've decided on 11. So Octopussy will go on 11, behind Dr. Goodhead, and ahead of Kissy and Tracy.
I think at this point everybody's gonna go ahead of Tracy.
I don't
think-
know. Like I said,
we-
Well, no, we do.
I
We
can't
do.
remember,
Well,
like,
we're getting into Dalton.
We'll
I'm
see.
sorry,
I mean,
but
yeah. I think our
some
next
questionable ones there.
we have a very nice one coming up in our next movie.
Bolton playing on some grenades, did he? Like, just like,
I
I've
might,
only seen one because I haven't seen Living Daylight, so it'll be brand new. I don't know who's in that one.
I might be the Barry in the License to Kill one.
You are.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be that guy.
No, but I think
It's hard to be that
I think
guy.
most of
I'll
you
watch ya.
most of you agree with me. Never Say Never Again is our next movie, and there's a nice Bond girl in that
Oh,
movie.
incredibly nice. She can go top 3, honestly, if you think about it. Just
She's
because of who
nice.
She is.
Yes.
be a shakeup.
Well, I'm going to take into account her character.
I want to. I honestly,
Barry also wants to know
I
her
might
credits
watch
score.
it.
Like, just like,
I might watch it tonight just because I've been waiting to see this one. I've never seen it. No, I've seen pieces of it. I've never watched this movie, the next one, all the way through.
It's Thunderball meets Waterworld.
Yeah,
Oh God.
Thunderball, Waterworld, and even old Sean Connery. But you get a return from Sean Connery.
Yes.
Last go around.
Waterworld.
Yes. Sean Connery is 52 in this movie.
I don't
Anyway.
think he does any Roger Moore silly kicks though.
We need to rank the movies. That's our last ranking to do. So let's go to. We're going to where should we put Octopussy on the movie list, Barry?
On this list for me, I found Octopussy to be a lot of fun. There is silliness in it. I think most of the silliness is done right for a James Bond movie. It has a couple of moments that aren't something that I prefer, but I also don't hate it. The Tarzan scream, yeah, totally silly, but I can move past it pretty quickly. Given this list, I'd place it right after Dr. No.
Oh wow! Wow!
It's a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness! Imagine that. The same place he puts every movie. Oh man, Justin.
Right before Moonraker.
Yep, I'm going with that.
Wow. Tom, you got an idea?
I'm torn between either putting it before or after Live and Let Die.
It's better than Golden Gun to you?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna.
I did like it better
I
than
was
Golden
gonna
Gun.
put it at 10.
And like the only thing that's like holding me back is Pepper, my hatred for Pepper. And like some of the littler cartoony stuff that I complained about, but then I think is like, is it any more cartoony than what I just saw? Like, and I think that's where I'm torn on trying to figure out where I am with it.
I would go back and watch Diamonds and Golden Gun before I ever watch Octopussy again.
True that.
I would definitely go back and watch.
I'd watch
Diamonds.
Moonraker.
Because but honestly,
And it's terrible.
I really
And
liked
it's
watching
below.
Diamonds, and now I just want to figure out where those little motherfuckers are. So
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
definitely rewatch Diamonds.
I'd watch Diamonds, but Golden Gun definitely. Even though Moonraker I have below it, I was watched Moonraker before I watched Octopussy again.
Where did you say you wanted it, Ray?
Right before Moonraker.
Yeah,
So not dead last.
So 12.
Yeah.
So we have two 12s, a 10, a 4, and what did you say, Tom?
Either before or after Live and Let Die.
So either 8 or 9. 8 or 9?
Yeah.
So it looks like maybe what, 10, 11? Or
I don't know, Barry's giving it a 4.
Barry pulls it up to like 7.
Yeah, but I also don't want to be the guy that's going to throw
No,
off
no,
the
no,
entirety
no.
of what the rest of the group perceives and have it be totally screwed up based on my
Nobody's
nobody's screwing nothing
we
up.
all have
Based on
to
my
agree on it.
outlier.
That's socialist talk.
No, we all
Barry.
have to agree.
That's what that is. Like,
Well, I'm just conceding the point ultimately.
that's socialist talk too.
I know.
Like, it's like,
So let me ask you this, Barry. What in your mind puts this above The Spy Who Loves Me or For Your Eyes Only? It's both. They're all more, so we can't argue the different bonds. So like what puts it above those two for you?
I liked some of the visuals in this. I liked the India stuff. I thought was a lot of fun. I thought this movie itself was. I think all of Moore's movies are truly fun, and I know I use that word a lot, but that's what I want out of my entertainment. I thought Octopussy brought a bunch of that. I thought Moore was awesome. I thought he, had that glimmer in his eye the whole time. The line delivery was always spot on. A good chunk of his quips worked, and I just thoroughly enjoyed the movie. And the silly stuff, to whatever degree it is silly, and to some degree all James Bond movies are silly, it just doesn't bother me.
I think I like looking at. I like the pace of the movie.
It did have good
Is
pace.
why I liked it better than the other Roger Moore films. Like, because I think a lot of what got me anxious about the clown scene and the circus scene at the end of it was the fact that it had been so go 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 for so long of the from the very start and all that to the very end. Now I have to hold my breath. Are you going to let this man disarm the bomb?
Right.
Like, I think that's why I enjoyed the pace and the drama at the end, like of the totality of the film, more than I did the other like ones. So yeah, I'd probably put it above Live and Let Die.
Okay.
But behind Spy and For Your Eyes Only.
So we've
What's
got an 11, 3 12s. Is that right?
No, I have a 10. They both have 12.
Yeah, those numbers aren't.
11, 10, 2
It's the other
12s.
numbers, yeah.
And for me, I advocate for 4, which I know is a loser, obviously. Can we land on maybe putting it at 9?
Above The Man with the Golden Gun.
I definitely think it beat that movie.
So in between Live and Let Die and Golden Gun.
And I know that's a big leap for the guys that put it at 12,
Hmm.
Now that's right where I'm at. So like,
So I'm willing to hear counter offers.
Well, Ray looks like he's about to make an offer.
No, actually, I don't really have one.
Oh, you clapped your hands like you were excited.
Yeah,
I was like,
I was trying to think of something to like bring it back down. I can't. Like it's just, I mean, I hear what Barry's saying. Like it's a good time. I mean, but he's a fucking spy. What is he doing with this goofy ass shit all the time?
He does what he has to do to get the job
But
done.
I think
But I mean, do they teach vine swinging in MI6?
he was in the Navy. Who knows
Tiger
what he did?
taming?
Like,
Yeah. Like some of it I just can't get over. But some of it I can agree with, but like at the end of the day, he's a spy, and that's what he's supposed to be doing, not this off the wall weird shit all the
Well,
time.
weird stuff aside, I think he did the spy thing. He, found out that, the jewels were fake, switched them with real ones and fake ones throughout it. Throughout this process, uncovered that, like, the Russians are going to try to, like, disarm NATO by mimicking a bomb that NATO owns on their own soil. Like, he just kind of stumbled ass backwards into, like,
He always
a bigger
does.
plot.
Yeah, he always does.
But that's the thing about it is, like, that's very spy-ass, to where it's like, oh, I went for this one small, like, jewel heist thing from another country to, shit, now I gotta stop, like, more or less an atomic bomb going off.
And then you got the three villains fighting against each other.
But I said, I even like that dynamic because, like I said, you're all bad guys. It's just about to what degree are you bad to our main good guy character. Like
Yeah,
I said,
but we already seen that with Jaws
well, yeah, but that's yeah.
for
But
like
it's not-
4 movies.
But like I said, compare him to Octopussy. Like, you actually get character development. She's the head of the organization. She's like got a history with Bond and MI6 and whatnot from her father's past. Like, Jaws is just a juggernaut. Like, there
Right,
was though it was all like shtick. It was all like prop comedy. Like, with her, like I
Yeah.
said, you could argue development of the character in the storyline.
I will say this. I feel like the three of us, Justin, Ray, and I, have kind of gotten it. I think we've kind of partially convinced Tom. Because Tom was talking about this like he was going to do what Barry was doing. Like he was going to put this movie way up on the list. And he's quite a ways down the list. So I think Tom's kind of come towards our side here at least.
I wrote a note to myself as Tom was talking. It says, "Don't go in a trench with Tom."
Tom's a dick.
They're on the way here, you did mention it'd be nice to have an ally.
But
That has not happened.
I am advocating for the film. I just don't. I don't think it can. Well, once again, like, my Connery is more, like we talked about, or my Bond is Connery and all that.
Mike Connery is more.
Yeah, like, fuck. But too many names already. But yeah, but those other films I think are better in their own right. Like I said, this was enjoyable for what it was, and I don't know. Like I said, I think it fits. I think it fits around like the 8 or anywhere from 7 to 9. Like, I would be okay with putting it there.
I mean, I can come up to 9. I put it at 10. I can go from 10 to 9.
Yeah, I can go to 9. That's fine.
All right. God dang it. I'll go to 9.
I appreciate
Son of a
the
bee.
deference.
Yeah, I mean,
So that would put
Moves Golden Gun down, right?
yeah. So that would mean it is behind Live and Let Die and ahead of The Man with the Golden Gun, Diamonds Are Forever, Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Moonraker.
because we only have one more movie out of this lineup, don't we?
Yes, we have a Connery and a Moore coming up.
So really,
next.
we're seeing, other than the next movie, this is the most mature version of Moore's Bond we've seen develop. And I think that, like, that's also where I was, like, torn in it. Because, like I said, you've seen a lot of stuff tried in his earlier movies. Like you said, spaghetti on the wall. Some of it sticks, some of it you brought back from older films, but that's why I like Octopussy. It's almost like you took Moore's greatest hits and you're trying to put it in one movie.
If only they could have done it before he was a geriatric.
You can't beat time, man. I don't know what to tell you on that.
Well, they could have figured it out quicker, or they could have just not fucked it up to begin with.
I'm over here
I mean,
touting
hey, that's
AI
cool.
like everybody else. Like, it's like, I'm all for it. Like,
They could have been like, hey, we have one of the most successful movie franchises in history. Let's not change a bunch of shit. Hey, let's change a bunch of shit.
Well,
And then have to go back and fix it later because it didn't work.
but you can argue you do have to change. Like, nobody wants to be said, like, oh, well, he just copies Connery. Like, because that's what you would have turned into.
And that's probably the idea. That
Yeah, but then what did he have to do to make his movie successful again? Go back to acting more like Connery. Because even Barry said earlier, man, I like it when essentially he didn't say Connery, but he was describing Connery's Bond. It was like, I like it when he has those scenes like that. It's because it's more Bond.
But I think it's when it's sprinkled in.
Yes, I like it when it's sprinkled.
Because, like I said, because then that's not your whole character, and it's there when it needs to be. But that's why I say, like, those tough guy moments, like the boot in the car that we've seen in the last film and stuff like that, or the machine gun scene, like, those are my Connery moments for more.
I like levity in my James Bond movies. now, and I didn't know that I liked levity in my James Bond movies until I saw all of Connery's and most of Moore's. I like the lightheartedness about it because they are, just by their nature to some degree, silly. There's no way around it with these movies. There's going to be some
No,
silliness.
I don't agree.
Well, then you don't have you have like an action hero. You don't have Gentleman Spy then.
Why do you have to be silly? Like I get one-liners, and Connery had one-liners throughout all of his
It's
movies.
because the plots and the situations that they're in are so silly. And with an action film, it seems like it's more dire and either like kill or be killed situation in the immediate.
Yeah, there's some of that, and then of course the nature of the characters that this is a long-running series, so it can't.
Yeah.
The stakes can't be like an 80s action movie where I'm just going to show up and everything's just dire all the time. And, there has to be more to it than that. And Connery did it too. There was levity there, but it almost took itself too seriously even through that. Whereas Moore's Bonds, they know that there's silliness involved. And sometimes they take it a little bit too far. I can't disagree with that. By and large, I really like that in a James Bond movie.
It definitely gets the PG rating, I think. Like, I definitely am. That's what makes those films. Like, once again, like, would I have been as interested in these films as a kid? Like I said, if they weren't that way. Like, are those little things what make it good
when
for?
I was a kid, I remember not liking Octopussy.
Yeah. So I
I
think I was still too enamored about the title. Like,
The title
I
stood out to me as a
The
kid.
name is
Yeah,
what-
let's say,
the
'cause-
name is what drew me in,
yeah.
and then I saw Octopussy. And
I mean,
okay.
I vividly hated Moonraker as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't like Moonraker either.
Couldn't stand it. And I love Jaws.
Yeah, I was say,
Yeah, because I was playing GoldenEye on
Yeah.
64, and Jaws was one of my favorite characters to play with.
Yeah.
Him or Jaws.
Odd Job, yeah. Which Justin did tell me he sided with me on our henchman argument. It was blasphemy that Odd Job was ranked so low.
I'm glad I wasn't here for that. I'd have been
See,
upset.
it's okay. It's not his list.
Not my list.
That's right. It's not my fucking list. I don't. It doesn't count.
Can't wait to hear what I gotta say. Like, not your list, not your list, not your Bond. Like,
Just make another series. It's called Not Mine.
yeah, that's all it's
It's
gonna
not
be called.
my
Like,
series.
fine.
There,
Like,
just go through stuff.
All right. Well, I think we've rattled on for a while here, so let's wrap it up. That will end our Octopussy episode. We appreciate you tuning in for that, and please tune in next week for our Never Say Never Again, the return of Connery in a non-canon Bond film. Yes, we're including that on our list just because we want to.
I'm excited for it though.
I am too.
It's
I
It's a return. It's the last Connery of it. So
Yeah. And, Connery put effort into this. Connery was like, I want to show you that, I can do this.
Well, there's probably a lot of trash talk at this point too. So I imagine probably
because
people were
With that being his last go, the movie after that is Moore's last go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, at that point now you've seen like Lazenby had his one off, and you've seen all the ones that Moore did. So now people are already like comparing, the two at least. So like I'm sure there was an axe to grind for Connery to come back and like, hey, this is my character. Like I'm excited for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Blockbuster Bums.